Coming up on today's wrestling news, Mercedes Mone confirms her next move in wrestling. The real reason why Jay White picked AEW over WWE. Jeff Hardy teases retirement, sort of. And surprise, surprise, the latest on the CM Punk AEW return rumours. I'm Adam Wilborn.
Bret Hart's physique has never looked worse.
And this is the news. And this is... Wait a second, I saw this on Squared Circle, so I should explain it to you.
This is gorgeous. This is
a megastar getting ready for his role on the USA Network show Swamp Thing in 1991.
Oh, so that predates Swamp Thing by The Grid.
Yes.
That class song. Shout out Elton from The Grid. I stayed at his house once in London. Very nice man he was. Showed me his appearance on Top of the Pops. I was like, that's incredible.
Anyway, Mercedes Mone. She lost. She's rubbish. I thought she was meant to be like the new John Cena, she said, or something. She dropped the title after 64 days.
Stop this.
Okay, she had a match, which you watched, at the All-Star Grand Queendom event for Stardom over the weekend. And despite Mayu Iwatani's insufficient plans, she defeated her, of course, the IWGP Women's Championship. So, what is next for her? Is she coming to WWE as part of the draft? No. She got a promo after the match and, well, got everyone very excited about New Japan's next big USA show, Resurgence, which go down on May 21st in Long Beach, California. She said, I'm so disappointed. I feel broken. I'm so disappointed. I feel broken. I feel bankrupt. But I just called my CPA. She just told me I'm still really, really rich. So I'll be okay. But look what Mayu did my beautiful face. Do you know who I am? I'm a living legend. I'm a star. I'm a star in Star Wars.
Good.
Mayu-san, you are not the Undertaker, and I promise you the next time I am here in Stardom, you'll be a dead bitch. Her words, not mine. I want one more chance, one more opportunity to get my IWGP Women's Championship back. I'm not done with New Japan. I'm not done with Stardom. I am still on my world tour. My next stop is May 21st at Resurgence, so get ready to roll. Up a nice big one because we're going to go into my cousin's house, Long Beach, baby. Also, Wrestling Observer reporting that she has signed a contract extension, although no word on how long that is. Happy about this?
Yes. I have a question that I'll get to in a second. But ultimately, I think this is good for everybody. You joke a little bit about, well, draft season's coming up in WWE, could she be there? But genuinely, some people have suggested this is like a bit of a sabbatical from American wrestling, something she wanted to do for her. She's done it. It's certainly timed out quite nicely with this draft coming up. And Sasha Banks, in spite of how she left the company, was always otherwise very full of praise for Vince McMahon. Had a prior great relationship with Triple H in the NXT days. So it wasn't maybe as wild as people might have thought, despite the acrimony around her exit. This, however, is, I think, far more captivating from a wrestling fan point of view. The relationship with New Japan, as we know, is not just a relationship with New Japan, is it? It's the fact that she's worked in New Japan, it's the fact she's worked in Stardom, it's the fact that there is a forbidden door that can swing open as early as June this year, but certainly any time that AEW potentially want to open that door, and then she's suddenly a feature on North American television as well as doing all of this. The world in wrestling is wide open for a Mercedes Mone, for a Sasha Banks and the like. And I just love to see stars of her sort of magnitude keeping her options as open as they possibly can. Because as well, this tour's been a load of fun. She's cutting really funny, great promos. She's clearly having the time of her life. The matches have been an absolutely tremendous standard. You know, like Wrestle Kingdom was like a shaky start. And none of that has been there ever since. Everything has been exactly as you would have wanted from a Sasha Banks outside of WWE.
Yeah.
Mercedes Mone has delivered, and it's just exciting. I do want to ask one quick question. Is she in California, is it?
Yes.
What is, rolling one up? Is she on about how she's going to beat somebody? Because I like the moneymaker and I like the bank statement. Is she going to beat people with
I think it's a reference to the Devil's Lettuce.
I get you.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't have known. Thank you.
It's just a shame it doesn't go down on 420, bro.
Anyway. Spring break.
Speaking of people not going to WWE, Jay White.
Yeah.
He was rumoured to be going there, of course, in and around WrestleMania 39. But apparently, according to a new report, he'd already signed with AEW ahead of the show of shows. And the interesting thing about this report, actually, that came out, says that, yes, of course, there was interest from WWE in signing Jay White. Triple H and William Regal both apparently showed interest. No surprise there that those were the representatives. It ultimately didn't happen. Here's why. WWE higher-ups said that WWE failed to communicate properly along the process, and also noted that maybe Jay White joined AEW because Vince was coming back, and there's been no main roster hires, of course, since that happened, and the Endeavour deal's gone down, speculation about budget cuts, etc., etc., etc. There were progressions on the WWE side with Jay White. In fact, there was sort of tentative plans being laid out for him. Ultimately, though, he became All Elite, and he's looked great so far.
Yeah. The Jay White to WWE end of this story was a little bit more interesting than the AEW one, wasn't it? Truthfully, It was something we hadn't seen. It's always fascinating to see how people survive or thrive in the WWE system because it's just so different and like structured and regimented compared to AEW and the like. There is a lot of, since WrestleMania, people making doing 2+2 and trying to make 4 with a Vince McMahon thing or a Triple H thing. This is the least surprising one yet.
Yeah.
All the rumours swirled around the fact that he was very much a Triple H guy. He was someone that he was super interested in. Bear in mind that Jay White was rising up in New Japan right when Triple H was turning NXT into something that he thought he could take the critical acclaim from. So it's very evident he had one eye. I remember those incredible deals he put together for the Elite in 2018 to try and stop AEW happening at all. This is a scene he, at very least, him and Regal at least keep an eye on at least via streaming services and DVDs, if not caring much more beyond that. So I'm not surprised to hear this.
No.
Nor am I particularly surprised to hear communication breakdown when so much would have been going on around WrestleMania season. It didn't even relate to WrestleMania. If you think about the sale, if you think about all the carnage, I always think about this. Literally the second that rubber chicken hit Cody Rhodes' shoulder, nothing was the same again. So how much had been going on in the background in the run-up to WrestleMania for the aftermath that they were probably trying to keep a bit of a lid on.
Yeah, and I think long term this is probably the best for everyone involved. I think had it just been a Triple H helmed organisation, I would have loved to have seen Jay White in WWE. I don't want to see him in a Vince McMahon WWE because they'd just be like, right, we're going to put everyone who's from down under in a stable together, right? Well, I'm from New Zealand, I'm from Australia. You're all from down there, basically. You're all mates, aren't you? You all hang out.
Yeah.
And we're all going to give you hats with corks hanging off them, probably.
The anti-Padians.
Very nice.
Anti because they're villains.
Yeah. Right, Jeff Hardy teased retirement on this weekend's episode of Rampage. Sort of. It went down on Saturday, of course. This week, Rampage did. And he cut a promo. Basically, I'm just going to read it for you and say what he said. He said, "Man, it's super cool to be back in this elite world. 9 months ago, I didn't think this was even possible. I worked so hard to reach this moment right now, dude. Thanks so much. I'm trying really hard to love myself again, and with that said, I think the smartest thing for me to do is retire from screwing up. I'm here in AEW to end my career on an extremely high note instead of a depressing one. I love each and every one of you. We'll see, and time will tell. The future is waiting for us to prevail." I'm not sure how I feel about this.
That's Jeff Hardy brackets general, isn't it? Good. Good. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, obviously, that's the main thing.
Looked and sounded great in that promo. Retiring from screwing up was really cheesy. And I don't know, I've certain issues with what specifically has been trivialised.
Yes.
In the phrase screwing up. We all screw up.
Yeah.
There are different levels to that. And I hope he's all right. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anybody does. I think there's a lot of people who are able to just brush this aside, and then it's like, well, do you like Jeff Hardy, the wrestler, or not? And it just becomes a that. I don't think this is a that. I think a lot of people can have a lot of complex thoughts about Jeff Hardy at this point. And not just about the people outside of Jeff's life, but his own health and well-being. Addiction is a disease.
Yeah.
But wrestling, as we've seen with lots of other people, can contribute to that disease. And who are we to say? He and he alone can decide if this is the best place for him. I hope it is.
Yeah, and interesting to say that he says that he's going to end his career in AEW. That he's not as less of a work in the...
Wrestlers say things, but you feel that if AEW is at least willing to give him another chance and give the Hardys a send-off and a run, I can understand why the sentiment would lean that way.
Look after yourselves, but don't make stupid decisions.
Yes.
That's the best way we can have it, I think, there. Also on Rampage...
It's not controversial to say don't drink drive, is it?
No, exactly.
It's not like... It feels like when you talk about Jeff Hardy and DUIs and stuff, but don't drink drive.
No.
Ever.
Also on Rampage, it was teased by Excalibur that this week's Dynamite we will hear from Tony Khan. Now, it's not a huge announcement, just we'll hear from Tony Khan.
Yeah.
But we know what these sort of things mean. The most recent one, of course, being the announcement of All In at Wembley Stadium in August, which was advertising for in the FA Cup semi-final this weekend, which got us all very excited. But obviously, you're sort of putting all these things together. Speculation, of course, on whether it's like Forbidden Door stuff or other big show announcements or whatever. But you're also thinking, well, all the Punk stuff's still swirling.
Yeah.
And it looks like potentially, they've got the United Center, Chicago, June 17th. There's all this talk about AEW Collision.
It's not Rampage special, is it?
It's seemingly heading that direction. Another update on this situation from Wrestling Observer said that CM Punk and the company EVPs are yet to apologise to each other, which I think they all should do to each other. I think a lot of people have been saying this should be a one-way apology. I'm like, no, they all made mistakes. This is down to Punk not being in contact, basically, with them. Or not being able to make contact with them, at least. But one would assume, putting all these pieces together, that we could be getting the Punk announcement, or at least the Collision announcement, soon, and then maybe they do exactly what they do with Rampage. We're going to be in Chicago, but who's going to be on the show?
Yeah, I'm kind of prepared to take the Paul Heymanism here and say I've got a prediction. Not a prediction, but a spoiler.
Yeah.
The phrasing, we'll hear from Tony Khan. Where did we last see that? Last week, when we'll hear from FTR. What happened there? FTR's close friend Mark Briscoe was being attacked. Renee interrupted them before they could even say what they were supposed to hear, and they had to rush off, right? Same thing this week.
What did they run past?
Tony Khan's, a Pepsi machine. Tony Khan's about to make his big announcement, but Renee stops him in his tracks, points to the screen, doesn't see that beautiful, handsome man Kevin Nash, but does see something quite similar. Sees that Tony Khan's close confidant, that's a quote, Chris Jericho, has been attacked. He rushes to the medical centre just like FTR did, and just like FTR and Mark Briscoe, Jeff Jarrett's already in there. Only this time he's rifling through his pockets and he becomes Tony Khan's closest confidant. He's like, well, I got you Wembley, I got you your Canadian tour, and I rule on television every week. What are you doing with this guy? And that's the announcement. But no, see, it feels like Collision,
It's going to be Collision.
I have a television show to announce, and it's going to be in Chicago. See you there. Guess who might be on it? And we get the First Dance Part 2 because they can do the exact same tease. You can do the 99%, 1% doubt thing all over again.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be very
fascinated.
different.
I think they need him back. Yes. But, it's going to be an interesting reaction. Although Chicago's Chicago. So.
He'll have a good night there. It's just
everywhere else.
Will this one last like less than the first one? It's crazy. I love this. I love this.
I love the
energy around it.
Yeah. It's very, very exciting to see what happens. It's going to be a wild old summer. Okada said goodbye and good night.
Bang went the gun.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, you want to get in touch with us. Anthony Ekman starts us off. What's the better WrestleMania family storyline and match? Kane Taker at 14, Vince Shane at 17, or Dom Ray at 39?
Oh, yeah. Like Vince Shane has got the legacy right now, but we are only weeks removed from Dom Ray Mysterio.
Still time.
Dom Ray Mysterio was a better worked match than Vince and Shane.
We're featuring the best WrestleMania entrances of all time.
Yeah. Right now, I have to say just Vince and Shane because that had the wheelchair moment.
Yeah.
And they decided to reject the electric chair moment. That would have got you your Linda stands up reaction.
Yeah.
And they held back from that. But that's because with Vince and Shane, you were ending it there and then. These lads have backlash to think about. Dominic Mysterio, it's not just a one-night payday, is it?
But Bunny's on Raw tonight, isn't he? Get in.
See, that's what that match makes you feel. Vince and Shane was one and done.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you.
Just for now, though. Give it 5
And
years.
I hate Kane and his politics.
So. Oh, yeah, never Kane the Undertaker. Jesus Christ, it was rubbish. Both matches were rubbish.
But yeah, Dom Ray is always going to have a special place in my heart. Someone asked me outside the stadium on the Saturday, like, what was your favourite match? And I was like, the tag title match, obviously. But my brain was going, probably Ray versus Dom.
That one.
If Dom had have won, it would have been my favourite match of that night. But I get, hey, just like everything at WrestleMania 39, guys, let it play out.
I knew you were going to do that, but you're like, but WrestleMania wasn't about disappointing the fans.
The story's not over yet, guys. And I've got that C tweet ready for immediately after SummerSlam, baby. Unless he loses at WrestleMania Backlash, in which case, we're in real trouble here, guys.
How many E's have you got so far on this C for the?
Every time I see one of you complaining about the greatest storyline in wrestling, I'm not another E. Try me. Try me, bitch. Hos Delgado gives us our second question of the day. Good morning, Monday legends. Thank you, Hos Delgado.
I'm assuming he means Murray, but I'll take that anyway. Thanks very much.
You. Who do you think should work commentary for AEW Collision? I think taking the chaotic route and adding Nyla Rose and Daddy Magic would be hilarious.
Oh,
yes.
Great shouts. Yeah, absolutely. Nyla Rose's partner, Daddy Magic's always been really good. I want CM Punk to commentate. I want him to wear a headset while he's wrestling. It can be his show. I want him to book it, quite honestly, so he can commentate and wrestle. When he's not working, he should be commentating. When it's like Poochie, when he's not on screen, other characters should be asking, "Where's CM Punk?" But genuinely, if this is going to be his little island, I kind of want it to feel that way.
Why does he automatically have to go to Saturday? Why can't the Elite go to Saturday? Wednesday's the biggest show, so you put your biggest star on that, don't you? I'm just asking questions here, guys.
I'm just giving answers. They need numbers for Saturday. There's a lot of, I think what's great about AEW is that it doesn't always work for everybody, but there's a lot of windows of opportunity for wrestlers that are great promos that maybe aren't getting TV time to do that. Nyla Rose is the shout.
Yeah, Nyla Rose is great.
On that, somebody that doesn't work for AEW, but somebody that has briefly done commentary for them and is doing more commentary than wrestling now is Veda Scott. She was brilliant in the women's tournament a couple of years ago from Dailies and does commentary for like indie shows that use commentators. Yeah. So a fantastic elevated platform for her as well.
And she cut her teeth in WCPW. You're welcome, everyone. She was obviously great before. I don't. You're not normally here, but as Andy Murray knows, I have my little birds, my sources. Right. Love the idea of Nyla Rose. Daddy Magic obviously is the best. Mm-hmm. My sources tell me none of that. No Excalibur, no JR, no Tony, none of that. Maranello and Ace Steel. That's what I've heard. So, thoughts? I think Michael Sidgwick's head would explode if that happened.
I think mine's trying not to. I mean, I don't know. Like, Ace Steel could add a bit of bite to the commentary.
Ew! Get Larry on there as well, just for banter. What do you reckon, Larry? Cool. Mitchell Gilligan's our final question of the day. Mitchell's got the hack. He sent a picture of his kitty, Randy. Thank you. Mitchell writes, do you think AEW should merge the TNT title and the All Atlantic title, or whatever it's called now, and make a true TV title that could show up on all shows? Both just feel like TV titles anyway.
It's weird. It's a kind of, that might scan as an admission of failure of the TNT title. The TNT title, despite the fact that it's obviously on TBS and sometimes the TBS one is on Rampage more, they've got that the wrong way around. But the point is the network were probably like the brands being slapped all over them. So you would imagine you're keeping people sweet with those belts. As a wrestling fan, if we're ignoring capitalism and corporate culture, I get the point. Like the international title is AEW's secondary belt.
Yeah.
Like belt, age-old thing. We've all heard it and said it a million times about men making belts and belts making men. Look at it right now. Look at the TNT title's been hot potato. The prestige of that from the days of Cody and Miro is long gone. While Orange Cassidy has like a run to genuinely to rival Gunther's in WWE, and they're both kind of neck and neck underneath Roman Reigns. He's an awesome secondary champion. His is the television title that wrestling itself has not had for decades.
Still should put it on Jeff Jarrett there.
Oh, I mean, you're allowed that. This is like that one Cody thing.
Exactly.
I'm willing to do that. See, if Jarrett wins it in the end.
Jarrett should win all the gold.
Is
he facing this week Dax?
Jarrett and Dax in a singles match.
Dax is going to get his head kicked in. It's going to be great. Right, let's move on to today's and finally. And it's Monday. It's the start of a new week. It could, can be good this week. I've eaten trash for the last 2 weeks and I'm trying to eat better today.
That's cool.
I'm going to go and get a really sugary coffee in about 5 minutes time.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Fancy, yeah. Shout out to the guys at Good Bruce. So I thought we'd just try this on for size today. Anthony Bowens, lovely Anthony Bowens, what a top bloke. One of these days I'm going to scissor him and the world is going to rejoice. Oh, yeah. But it's not happened yet. Anthony tweeted, my wrestling fandom would have been miserable and way less special back in the day if all I did was log into the message boards and whine about WCW versus WWF ticket sales, tops and ratings. It's all very bizarre. And that goes both ways. How about you just enjoy your wrestling and don't poo-poo anyone else's? Just a thought for your week.
Okay.
Not difficult, is it? I don't know. I do all the gimmick and I'm just poking the bear. And just, if you prefer AEW to WWE, great, go off and enjoy that. And if you prefer WWE to AEW, great, go off and enjoy that. But you don't have to sling mud over the other side, do you?
I will say, I'm enjoying trying to get my feet wet with Stardom a little bit this week.
Yeah.
And it's just nice as a reminder. This feels like a nice platform that we are very privileged to have. To say you too can experience new wrestling. There is so much out there that you can enjoy. And you probably should give NXT a try on Tuesdays.
Because
it really is
the best
there.
wrestling show of the week, guys.
The saga that nobody is talking about, that is better than the Bloodline. It's currently taking place every Tuesday night. Getting now.
Better than the Elite, better than the Bloodline.
I would consider this the...
Is Brooks Jensen going to get his all?
For the reference point, I would consider this week's Spring Breaking to be the Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Royal Rumble beat of this particular story. They're coming together and clashing for the first time. Get involved.
And if you're thinking like, oh, I really want to get into that, but I wish there was a serious, well laid out podcast that run me through what's been going on in NXT recently. The What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. We are 3 consummate wrestling journalists, and we give you a play-by-play that is unprecedented, and that word covers everything. I think it's fair to say.
I think journalist covers a lot of stuff.
And it's not just the 3 of us. There's other members of the team that you'll meet us along the way as well. It's not about the story. It's about the friends we make along the way. Particularly if they're an elephant, a cow, and Stacks.
I wouldn't even say friends. Family at this point.
Right, let's
literally in the case of Stacks and Tony.
Yeah, let's know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. It's going to be fun, isn't it? Subscribe to What Culture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and Hamlet are going to sit down and review SmackDown. Me and Sid will sit down and review Rampage, and then we'll all sit down and look ahead to Monday Night Raw featuring Bad Bunny a little bit later on today. Thoughts, Twitter questions, all that good stuff at What Culture WWE on Twitter. Watch there, you can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Hamlet at...
We're not journalists and we never will be. Michael Hamlet.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. But for now, my thanks to Michael Hamlet. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.